So you'll need a knife or like a palette knife to get some black ink. Hopefully it's not too dried out. Not too much, maybe like a teaspoon. You don't really want to waste it. And when you're not using it, scrape off the extra, lay it carefully on the plastic sheet or a plate or whatever it is that you're using. Put the lid back on so it doesn't dry out, because it does dry out kind of quickly. And the amount of ink that you get is very, very important, because if you have too much, this won't slide. It'll just kind of like, it won't roll. It'll just kind of fail to get everywhere. If you don't get enough, it will not make a good print. But you want enough that's going to kind of cover this area, and it's enough. The amount you need to get also means it's going to be too much for a single print. So you want to work very quickly but thoroughly. This takes a little bit of practice, but just the amount that you get on here, it should be sort of textured like this all the way around. No empty areas, and this kind of tacky quality where you hear this sound. It's kind of a squish squish sound, or it's like this, I don't know how to describe that sound. Not the squeak, but the sound of the ink. So kind of quickly working to cover the block. I can already tell that this ink is a little bit dried out, and that's going to cause me some problems because it looks like it's too thick. I want to cover the whole thing, but I don't like it to be too thick, because then it will not show good detail. I also need to make sure that I do this in a clean area. So you print away from all this stuff. So I'm going to set it aside. Use your big tables to your advantage. So I think I'm going to do it like this. I want to try to center it on here. I'll do my best. And then I'm going to gently rub. It might help to put another piece of paper over it so that you don't get, you're probably going to have some ink on your fingers. Better to get that ink, see, on a scrap piece of paper than on your neat print. But I'm rubbing really thoroughly, not so hard that I squish the rubber and distort it or get ink out of the creases, which I don't want to do. I have no idea how this is going to turn out. My guess is not great because that ink seemed too thick, but we're just going to do our best here. Find out. I usually lift it up from one side. Okay, it was too thick. I lost some detail. I still like it, but you can see the top is a little patchy, and then some of that is just the quality that you want. I lost a little bit of detail. The owl is kind of but you know, it's fine. Like, this is a pretty good, I'd say.